gonna just fill you in. Here are the batteries that I've put together and made out of one. A couple of dead lipos. So I've got a couple of those now. The problem is Hobby King decided that they would stop shipping these and selling selling these in Australia. And I don't know whether I'm just the only one that buys them or there's an issue with them, but I fly them. I probably get about 6 minutes flat stick time and about 8 minutes, sort of around about 75% throttle on, on the mini quads. And what I find is these are a little bit heavy, so it does give you a bit of an issue there when you're doing aerobatics and that. They are a heavier battery. Everyone's running the 1800s or 1300s or 1500s. But I just like them, and they've stopped shipping them to Australia. So I had 7 of them with one cell, all this first red cell here. That was an issue, and you can see here that this one is off another set because it's had a bit of a prang. But yeah, just put it all back together and they all work. So did a video on that. Now this is the replacement battery that I'm going to be getting. Now these are a 4-cell, and you can get them in whatever size you want, but this is a 65 to 130C. So as you can see, a fair bit of difference in thickness to the battery, but not a lot in the actual overall size. So, and these are a really nice battery. I've been flying these 3-cell in my planes for a little while, and yeah, good battery. So it looks like out with the Turnigy heavy duty and in with the Bolt guys here. So also in here somewhere, been flying these. Not really impressed with these graphenes. 1.5 milliamp hours, and yeah, they just seem to be flying along, then all of a sudden the buzzer goes and it's lights out. And a couple of times we've landed short, and yeah, there's just no real warning, no downtime to those. And if you have a look in here, yeah, it's a thick one because we're looking at 6-cell. So I've got that for a project, bought 2 of them, and for a little project that we'll do a bit later. So got something to do with that guy there. The other batteries that we're running is I've bought a couple of these. I've had these before and destroyed them in prangs. These are a 2200 5-cell, and the reason I bought 5-cell is because of this guy here. Get him out now. This is a 550 Hobby King size frame. We're running the Rotor Geeks 30 amp BSCs. We've got the Park 450 1200 kV motors with 8-inch 3D props. We've got the F4 board. I've reviewed this, and what I find with this is the sort of upside down copter thing, and doing 3D. And what I found with this is being such a big copter and having to try and get the revs right and the likes. It's a combination of your battery, your size, your props, as we all know. But what I find is the 5-cell makes that really smooth. The 4-cell, a little bit punchy. When I mean punchy, you've really got to whack that stick up and down to get the revs as you transition over. So the theory was the higher the voltage, the less stick inputs and the smoother it'll be. And I put a video up. I just was recorded off the Fat Shark goggles. Put a video up of the 5S. Didn't do it justice because it was a bit of a bit snowy, but really smooth transition. So hopefully today, I've brought both 5S's out. We'll stick the GoPro on there and we'll see what that looks like. And yes, I've got to stick that back down. So did have an issue with this the other day. I've got a homemade power lead that I made very, very early in the piece. Had a wire come out, and yeah, I lost a motor and we did the old upside down thing. No real damage. but yeah, broke the lunch box, which is designed to break and absorb the impact. But so that's the 550. We have got the twins out today. We're flying the little 3D copter. This is the Space One unit, and I've reviewed that, and we'll be flying that upside down. We are going to take out the tiltercopter. I love this thing. This is really, really nice to fly. So smooth, and so that's the tilty arm thing. Now this guy here is my other, the other Space One frame. It's got the 3D mount up there for the camera. Had an issue with this. Every time I flew it, it would come up real snowy on the FPV screen in the goggles, almost like you're on the wrong channel, and then you'd flick horizon, air mode horizon, air mode horizon, and then it'd come good. So I thought, and I had a filter in there, and I thought, had enough of it, and I decided to put one of these all-in-one units in there. Now this all-in-one unit is a LT200, which is a 200 milliwatt transmitter, and it's got its own power to the 5-volt camera, and I just find these good. You just plug them in. You can see there the little connection I've got there that sets that up, and yeah, set it all up, ordered it out yesterday, and on 12 volt I'd get the lights, and on the 4-cell wouldn't work. So what it was the power distribution board. So the PDB, which was one of those cheap ones that had the 12 and the 5 volt on it, for some reason the 12 volt would just scramble up the voltage when I put a 4-cell battery on there. So 3-cell worked fine, 4-cell nothing. So decided to take the soldering iron to it last night, pulled it all apart, stripped it all down, put a nice power distro board in there, got it all set up, and it works. So we'll see how we go with that today and see what difference we make. Now on the 550, this is what I used for my testing. This is a little, I think it's an Eachine, if I pronounced that correctly, little FPV unit, and I've just mounted it on a motor mount, and so you can get the angle of it right. And what I've done is I've put a little a voltage regulator in there, and what I found is the batteries that I had for it were too small, and I'd get like one flight and I'd have to swap it over. So what I did is I put a voltage regulator in there so that I could run, where are they? Got them here somewhere. Yeah, so I can run one of these. So this is what I run off there. It's a little 2-cell, 350 milliamp hour, and that sits inside the lunchbox container. Lead comes out, plugs into the FPV unit, and hopefully all goes well. So then a little separate power supply for that. And last thing but not least is this. And what I bought was I bought a GoPro Session, and they were giving these away. So I got 2 of them, and they are just a camera case. And you can see they are for GoPros, so I just stuck everything in there. So I've got my little GoPro, the Hero 3. I've got my Black 4. I've got this camera that I'm recording with, and in there is the Session. And I'll take him out and have a look. So I've got a little Hero Session. Not going to stick that on at the moment. I need to get a 3D printed case or something for it rather than just as it is. So yeah, Christmas has been good. Hope it's been good to everyone else. So we'll be flying with that and that today. So they all just sit in there like so, and that just shuts up. So I've got them for my cameras. So I think we'll do a bit of a shut up thing and we'll go and fly.